All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about Cam Akers here because our head coach, Sean McVay, said something a little interesting. Apparently, Cam needs to maximize his opportunities. This was a bit interesting, so let's go ahead and just dive straight into this because there is a lot to unpack after last night's blowout loss, man. Lord have mercy. Okay, so it was a disappointing performance. Um, I was very surprised, to be honest. It's funny because I was at a house party and a lot of my friends they were playing the fantasy football and they actually asked me because a lot of them have Ram players on their teams, and one of my friends she was asking me, hey, so Daryl Henderson, like they asked me what was the order of the running backs, what's the depth chart, like who's starting, who's the backup. I told them, well, Cam Akers is the starter, Daryl Henderson is the backup because he is usually number two, and then this new guy Kyrie Williams is number three. And I was asked if I thought Cam Akers was going to play a lot by one person, and I said, yeah, he's going to be starting. We'll probably see a good bit of him. He's coming back from an injury, but I feel like they're going to try to establish the run with him. But and then another person said, "Is Daryl Henderson going to play?" And I pretty much just said, "Well, he might get a touch here or there, but he's definitely not starting. Definitely not starting. He's number two." And guess what happened? Daryl Henderson started. Much to my surprise, I was very surprised to see him on the field. Not necessarily because I feel he's a bad running back, but because throughout the entire offseason, it seemed Cam Akers was listed as the starter. But evidently, there appears to be a reason or something along those lines that Sean kind of alluded to as to why Cam is not starting at the moment. So let's go ahead and highlight this here and let's kind of dive into this. Sean is quoted here. No matter who you're talking about, you want to see guys do the little things the right way, compete with and without the ball. There were some instances where there were positive things and some things that he can do better. But we want to see just an increased level of urgency and accountability snap in and snap out of from him. The two key words in this paragraph is urgency and accountability. Let's add a third word, increased level of urgency and accountability. Generally, what that means is maybe Cam is not necessarily working as hard as he needs to. All right, maybe and from the urgency aspect of it, and from the accountability aspect of it, maybe he's who. Generally, what that means either is he's not necessarily doing the assignments correctly on certain plays, or there are things within the building like showing up on time, uh, little things like that. Maybe that he is not doing so much. I don't know. I'm not there. This is just me speculating, if you will. But let's go ahead and continue because Sean, I believe, says a little bit more. Um, yeah, let's see. Daryl Henderson definitely started. Um, and Cam Akers did come in the second series, uh, but he did. It was awful, dude. It was so awful. Like we could not run the ball to save our lives from Akers anyway. Henderson actually, let's see, he actually had 18 touches for 73 yards. I mean, which I feel like I want to see 20, 25 carries from our running backs, but It 73 yards though, that needs to be better. It's not like horrendous or anything, but it's not like good either. You know what I mean? So, but, and we just did not have any consistency running the football at all. So, but not terrible. But Cam Akers though had 0 yards, and he only touched the ball 3 times. So interesting, interesting. But Sean actually adds a little more to this puzzle, a little more to this story. McVay shouldered some of the blame, but let's go ahead and see what he says. Quotes it here. The opportunities were minimal. There were some things that within each of those individual plays that I think that we can be better collectively, starting with me, then to the players around him, but also with Cam. See, there we go. And so it's more of a reflection of the confidence that I know what he can be, and I'm confident that he'll be that guy that we've all seen at the right moments as this season continues to progress. That's our job to help get it out of him. End quote. Something Sean is very good at, and something I respect, is Sean is very good as a head coach. You got to know how to talk to the media because you want to be. Sean is honestly one of the more honest coaches in the league. Like that's actually something I really respect about him in terms of when he was first hired and how he talks to the media. He's pretty upfront in most cases, as opposed to like other coaches in the past, that weren't very upfront with the fan base. But Sean is, and obviously he can't tell us everything. Obviously, okay, he just can't do it. He just can't tell us everything. All right, but for the most part, he does. But when he'll because the thing is like he can't tell us everything, so how he kind of disguises that is he will talk a lot. Okay, Sean will talk a lot. He'll talk a mile a minute, but like whenever you're talking to other people too that do this, you can pick out like words here or there that pretty much highlight what they're trying to convey to you. Like basically what message they want you to hear. But they're not like telling it to you directly. They kind of want you to figure it out for yourself. And we look at this paragraph here, and where is it? He talks about how he's taken the blame for some of this, which is respectable, and he is the leader, so that is a true fact. Some of the struggles, if you will, do start with him. And he talks about him, talks about the other teammates, but then he says also with Cam. Okay, this is important also with Cam, and it's a reflection in the confidence that he feels will continue to see him in the right moments as the season continues to progress. Okay, he says he's confident he'll be that guy that we've seen in the right moments as the season continues to progress. Basically, he's kind of calling out Cam, saying, I feel like he wants him to work a little harder, is what I'm getting out of this. And it is what it really comes down to. And my little fan theory, just because I am a fan, I am not a professional, I am not a beat reporter, I do not work with the media, I do not work with the team, I do not have any information on the team. This is all purely speculation, because that is just simply something that fans do. Okay? Fans like to talk about the team, the ins and out of the team. And that's just what we do, even if it's not really our business, but it's just what we like to do. So I do the same thing, and that's what I'm doing here. And effectively, my point is, I am curious if Cam um, might be a little salty. You know, when I hear things like Sean wants to see more urgency and accountability were his exact words. It tells me that maybe he's not practicing hard, but from all accounts, Cam generally is a hard worker. So why isn't he practicing hard? And um, my average to below average brain kind of is telling me that perhaps he feels a bit salty. And why would he feel salty? Well, maybe he is not getting the reps in practice that he wants. Maybe he knows. And my theory is because of his knee injury, the Rams maybe aren't playing him as in practice as much as he would like. Because I feel like he wants to be the bell cow, which any player should feel that way. But it would appear we're we're going by running back by committee, and my first thought was possibly they're saving Cam possibly for like a more playing time at the back half of the year so we can kind of get him with fresh legs is my kind of thought process as to what Sean might be thinking. But what Cam might be thinking is, oh, I'm salty because I'm not getting the reps. That could be completely wrong. Okay. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's just my opinion. Okay. My opinion from a fan on the outside who is just who is just looking at this, looking at the 3 carries for 0 yards, and looking at the words and putting the puzzle together in my mind. And I feel like that's maybe what it is. And if it is that, my advice to Cam is chin up and and just get your work done because they're obviously going to use you. Okay, you might not be starting now, but it is clear that you're an important piece of the puzzle. You may not be starting right now, and there may be a reason for that. Okay, like I was just saying a second ago, maybe they want to save you for a late season push and maybe want to keep you as fresh as possible for the playoffs. Okay, that could be a strategy that they're trying to employ. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're at practice. They're not gonna forget about you. All right. So if you are salty and if that is why you're just kind of, you know, maybe the urgency isn't really there, I would just think about that and know that your time will come. Maybe they're just being overly cautious. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it and I could be completely wrong. So, but like I said, I'm a fan. This is just what we do. So, on that, that's going to be it for this video. We'll go ahead and catch you guys on the next one. And as always, go Rams.